Okay, so as y'all know, a bad bitch was right yet again. Um, Halle is taking DDG to court. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, it was found out recently that Halle will be taking DDG to court due to a domestic violence situation. Okay, she claims that he banged her head on the steering wheel of his car in a fit of rage, and he told her to quote unquote get the out my car, or he said get out my car, B. Can I say I'm surprised? No. All right. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about when I refer to my last video, go check it out. My latest video on Halle and DDG, the updated part 2. I literally said verbatim that at that very moment, meaning she's been planning this for months. Like, first of all, this is going to be an energetic reading. I'm not going to be doing any tarot cards. If that's not something you like, go watch my other tarot videos. This is not the video for you. Okay. This is going to be completely energetic because I just get a lot of downloads intuitively from the situation. Okay. I'll be communicating directly with spirit. Hi, my name's Soraya. I'm a psychic. Go book a reading. I can't promise that it's going to come the same day, but it's going to come eventually. All right. So first of all, right, when I did that reading, she was already planning on taking him to court. Like first of all, let me restate this again. All right. So y'all can understand why Halle is moving the way that she is. She has a legal advisor. Now, if y'all remember, I told y'all that this legal advisor, I don't think she may ever be revealed to the public because again, she's a legal advisor. This is a real legal advisor. I'm always almost hearing like a lawyer or an attorney, but a high class, a high level one. I feel like this one helps a lot of celebrities within the industry, and it's a girl. Okay, it's a she. And I feel like she's like light skin or a little brown skin, either black or, and she's a little bit thick, kind of short, a little bit thick with some ass. Anyways, I don't know why I picked that up, but anyways, or she could just be skinny. This is somebody that helps multiple celebrities, and overall, this is just somebody who is very, what I'm trying to say is certified. They're very certified and classified. Bitch, oh my gosh, I scared myself. They're very certified and classified within their business, right? So she is getting some of the best legal advice right now. And that's why she's moving the way that she's moving. That's why she's not taking it to the public. Because at the end of the day, in the court of law, if you take things to the public and you crash out or you know say things in the heat of the moment, it's not going to only not help your case, things will not go in your favor. Okay, so she is getting legally advised right now by this woman who is helping other celebrities, right? And so she's getting, yeah, she's moving the way she's supposed to in the court of law. First of all, let me just say this. Halle did not lie about DDG hitting her. She did not lie about DDG being abusive. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like Halle is the type to be like, oh my God. Like, I don't feel like she's a suck up, but I also like let's be real here when it comes to a man and a woman who has the advantage, right? Physiologically, right? Men are 9 times out of 10, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but 9 times out of 10 men are more physically dominant than women at the end of the day. And so I 100% believe Halle when she said that DDG hit her. I'm also seeing a vision where DDG, they're in an argument, and DDG, as he's arguing with her, his voice is getting louder, and he's yelling, and he's getting more verbally, and he's also getting energetically aggressive. Like, you know, when somebody's in an argument and it's like they're getting heated as the argument continues, like their aggression energetically continues, right? Like I'm seeing at first they're arguing, his voice is getting a little raised. Okay. They keep arguing, boom. Now he's using his hands, he's getting angsty, he's jumping up. They keep arguing, boom. Now his voice is raising. They keep arguing, and what's next? He's gonna hit a wall. And what if there's not a wall to hit? He's gonna hit you, right? So be very careful. Let me also say this to all girls. I was born and raised by an abusive, crash out man. The biggest warning sign is when they do things like punch a wall or they get verbally or energetically aggressive in a relationship. Okay, there is ways to see, and I'm not victim blaming at all, but I'm just saying these are signs that we could look out for so we don't end up in these situations, right? Or we could minimize our chances of being in this type of situation, right? So I'm feeling like the warning signs were definitely there. Whether Halle chose to listen to them or not is up to her, but I feel like when they would get into arguments, before he ever put his hands on her, I feel like he put his hands on her a multitude of like 3 or 4 times. I don't feel like it was every day or it was so often, but I feel like it was once in a blue moon when he just got into a fit of rage and he couldn't control it and he needed needed to take out his anger on something, right? Which brings me to the fact that yes, Daryl, aka DDG, has anger issues. I feel like this is lineage, like this is generational. This is something that happens in his family, but I'm more so hearing it's coming from the men's side. It could be okay. So let me explain it like this. His mother's side could have anger issues, but his mother's side on the male side, right? So for example, his mother's baby daddy, right? His father could have anger issues. Well, I don't know. It just feels like, anyways, I'm not, it's hard to describe. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Whether it's his father's side or his mother's side, either way, male aggression is something that he struggles with in his family, right? It's making me feel like it's not just him. Like, there's other people in his family who have this same issue. And that is why it's normalized, right? It's normalized in his family. That's not why nobody in his family has ever called him out about it. Not only is he bringing in the bread for his family, which is another reason why they may let him slide, but also this is normalized, right? I'll even bring up my own experience. My father is a1 crash out. He is physically and verbally aggressive when he is angry. He cannot control his emotions. And let me tell y'all something, there is nothing scarier than a grown ass man who can't control himself, right? And so he would lash out on everybody, not just me. Not only physically assaulting me, he physically assaulted my mother, he physically assaulted my grandmother, and he physically assaulted my aunt, right? Now I know y'all thinking, okay, I hope everybody like called him out on it. No, because it's normalized. It's so normalized to the point where when I finally decided to cut my father off for good due to my own safety, I got comments like, oh, it's not that serious. That's your father at the end of the day. That's your father. And yes, my father is abusive, right? So it's kind of like that situation. His family has normalized it, right? First of all, his little sister T, I saw that she took it to social media and she decided to she reposted a shady post on TikTok. And she also was like, oh, I'm not going to comment on the situation. If y'all don't know, T is DDG's little sister. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to comment on the situation, da 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 da. This makes me feel like T Ben knew her brother had anger issues. Like the signs were always there. I don't feel like he ever concealed it or he hid it. Like I feel like when DDG again, it's like it's specific moments, not all the time, but it's like once in a blue moon when he gets really, really angry, he'll punch the wall or something, or he'll start throwing stuff around, right? And so I feel like she been knew her brother had anger issues. Nobody ever addressed it publicly though. Why? Because her brother is he's the breadwinner at the end of the day. He's the richest one in the family, so nobody's gonna check him. Not only is it normalized, but also he's the breadwinner. So yes, T Ben knew what was going on, and I feel like intuitively she feels a little bad. Like deep down, T's not an idiot. She's not completely heartless. She knows that what he did was wrong, but at the end of the day, she's going to go on the side of that's my brother, and in the public eye, I'm always going to defend him. I feel like in private, she could have reached out to him and been like, "Yo, is everything okay? Like, why would you do that? Is like, why would you hit her?" But it just doesn't feel like Daryl's family holds him accountable. So yeah, like I said, this is not the only time Halle will be taking DDG to court. This makes me feel like, again, she's getting legal advice. So she's playing chess and DDG is playing checkers. She's 10 steps ahead of him. I feel like she is leading this whole domestic violence dispute court case is leading into eventually a custody battle. Okay, she is setting up the premises. Okay, she is setting up the premise of him being an unfit parent, right? Because at the end of the day, in the court of law, any parent who is permitting domestic violence in the home, especially against the other parent or in front of the child, I feel like the specific fact that she included, she was very smart for this. So don't get me wrong, Halle is very calculated, and not just her, but her legal advisor, whoever is advising her legally, that lady that I'm talking about, very smart move. But people are confusing, like two things could be right at once. Just because Halle is moving calculated wise doesn't mean that she's lying. Did y'all forget this is her firstborn child? This is her only and her firstborn child. Obviously, she's gonna want to have full custody over her kid, especially if the father of the child is whooping her ass and not respecting the baby's boundaries, right? Which we're gonna get on to Halo and what he thinks about the situation. Yes, I could read on babies. So, anyways, she's setting the situation up for a premise of taking him to court eventually for custody. So, yes, first she's starting with domestic violence, very smart. She's letting the court know that he physically assaulted her on multiple occasions. Well, on specifically, and he physically assaulted her in front of the baby, right? The court is going to look at it like, wow, he is comfortable asserting physical aggression in front of the baby. He's an unfit parent, right? Especially when she's showing the court that he's not respecting her boundaries. Eventually, this is going to lead into a custody battle. She's going to take him to court again for a custody battle. Now, DDG's thoughts on the situation. I also feel like the situation has mentally and emotionally drained Halle. I feel like she's a very strong spirit, and I'm also hearing intuitively that she is divinely protected. Okay, so I feel like if DDG ever tries to put a hit out on her, or he ever tries to get her touched, like he ever tries to set her up, or if he wants to physically assault her again, he won't be able to. I'm hearing divine protection. I feel like because her family is, I think they're Catholic, or excuse me, I think they're Christian. Either way, because of her religion, and I just feel like she's very close to God, the Most High. Whatever. Either way, there's some sort of spiritual attachment she has that makes her and her son very protected. So I feel like she is protected. So if she's worried about anything happening to her, it won't happen. Okay. Moving on to Daryl. He went to social media and very immaturely said on Twitter, of course, again, what a fucking idiot. Your baby's your firstborn child's mother is taking you to court for domestic violence. Why would you take it to social media? Like, you're stupid. Did he not, like, yo, there's a reason why they say anything that you say can and will be used against you in the court. Like, there's a reason why they say that shit. They let you know that all your actions, they're not looking at just what Halle is providing them. They're looking at the way he's acting on social media. Let me make that very clear. The judge, the jury, whoever there are, they're looking at his following actions, not only as it relates to Halle, but on social media. They're looking at this shit. They're watching him. He needs to start moving smart. If he really wants his son and he wants to be a good parent, he needs to start moving smart. So he took to social media and said that he's not bothered. That's a lie. He's very bothered. I actually see him crashing out, like hands. I'm talking about his hands is on the head. You know, the stressed out dad pose. He's like, oh, like fuck, like how could she take my son away from me? Like, again, I also said this in my last video. DDG is very ignorant and stupid, and he's unintelligent as it relates to court, right? When it comes to the legal system, let me tell you something. If you live in America, you need to learn about the judicial system so you can learn how to work around it, right? I feel like he's thinking like a juvenile. He's thinking very immaturely. Well, that's my son, right? It wasn't just her who was in the bed. Like, I was in the bed with her making my child. So who like, how do you have the right to take my child away from me? That's how he's thinking. He's thinking, this is my son. I helped you give birth to him. Like, I helped in the creation of him. How can you take him away from me? Well, in the eyes of the law, fair is fair. And if you are physically being abusive, you're not a fit parent. Period. Which I know y'all are probably wondering, like, will he ever physically abuse Halo? No. Even if he wanted to, I feel like Halle will not allow it. He will immediately either go to jail or court, but he would go to jail. Okay, so no, he will never physically assault Halo. I feel like, again, it's possible. Like, they're making me feel like it's possible if he gets into a fit of rage. I'm more so saying when Halo grows up, not right now. When he grows up and maybe like when he's 12, 15, 10, like maybe. But I feel like he won't because of the consequences. So moving on. Yeah, he is completely bothered, and I feel like we're gonna see him crash out on social media some more. I feel like he'll have an explosive moment on social media, and again, he is too far up his own ass to even realize that this is going to help Halle when it comes to the custody battle that will happen. Okay, remember, I said in the last reading, she is setting him up to go to court for custody. Not, I didn't necessarily think it was going to be domestic violence. I just heard custody battle. So again, this is letting me know that she's 2 steps ahead and she is doing the DV first so that there is physical proof for the court to go back to acknowledge the fact that DDG is violent. And obviously violence doesn't equal fit to take care of a baby. So moving on, what does Halo think about the situation? Halo has a very deep spiritual tie and connection to his mother. I'm more so picking up Halo feels a lot more comfortable and he feels a lot more, I heard, stress free. He feels more happy with his mother. And I'm hearing it's because of the energy his mother provides him with. First of all, he has more similar energy to his mother than his father. Now, this could change when he grows up. You know, we change as we grow older, but it feels like his natural aura and his natural energy he exudes is more similar to Halle, right? And let me describe it to you. It's very chill. Like it's this very chill energy. I feel like Halo is not a people person, right? He has to be like one or two at this point, right? He's not a people person. He doesn't like big crowds. I just feel like he gets social anxiety a little bit, or he just simply doesn't like people. He only likes the people that he's close to, right? His family. He doesn't like anybody else. And very similar, Halle is the same way. I feel like Halle's not very much of a going out, party girl. She's more like a just family girl. I like the people that are close to me and that's it. I don't want any new friends, right? That's Halo. And I feel like that's specifically why Halle doesn't like when DDG brings him around other people, right? Because at the end of the day, even though the physical umbilical cord was cut between Halle and Halo, I feel like the spiritual umbilical cord, like they're still very tied together. And it makes sense, right? Because after the baby gives birth, the mother is the one mostly caring for the baby. The mother is breastfeeding. Like those are very intimate moments that strengthen the bond between the mother and the child, which is why a lot of kids come out being mama's boys or mama's girls, So, fun fact if y'all didn't know. Anyways, she's very spiritually connected to her baby, especially because they share the same energy. And I feel like that's why it's not just because she's a first time mom. First of all, think about it. Let's be real here. Hallie's a first time mom. Any first time mom you can go and ask, they don't want their kids being around random people they don't know. They're very protective. It's like a pregnant cat. You know what I mean? Like they're going to hiss at you and probably scratch you if you come near their children because they're first time mothers. So, yeah, I'm just hearing she doesn't like when he brings him around other people like those random girls or famous celebrities because she knows her child. It's not just because she's being protective, it's because intuitively she knows that her child doesn't like being around people. Like she can feel her child's energy. They're still very close to each other. So yes, you guys, I feel like if Halo could talk, he would say, I like my mommy more than my daddy. I feel like he still loves his dad at the end of the day because that's his father. And that brings me to something else. Halo is very consciously aware for a child. I would say he's probably like, I don't know. Maybe he's an angel. I feel like his name really matches up to his aura because he's a little bit advanced for a baby. Like I feel like his capacity to understand certain things and comprehend certain situations is a little bit abnormal for like a baby that's only 2, right? Or a toddler. So moving on, I feel like he still has love for his father because he knows intuitively that's my dad, but he definitely knows that there's some things his dad can change about himself for sure, right? So moving on, him and his mother are very spiritually connected, and that's why he prefers to be around her more. I'm also hearing it's because Hallie provides stability. Her spirit is very calm, very nurturing. I feel like she hugs him a lot. She gives him a lot of affection, and that's what kids need, especially at this young age. They need a lot of affection and coddling and stuff like that. So that is why he prefers his mother. His mother is more stable and calm, and that's the energy he resides in and likes to reside in most of the time. DDG, on the other hand, I'm hearing he's very the energy around him is chaotic. Not just DDG, but the people he hangs around. Like, think about it. DDG moves like he's 17 years old, like he's a frat boy. DDG is very immature. He moves like he's 12 years old, right? And I'm just hearing DDG's environment is too chaotic. Like, I'm just hearing there's multiple people yelling all the time, screaming, just too much people, too much noise. And it overstimulates Halo, right? Halo is a baby. Babies like to be in calm, environments, especially with people that they know, not people that they don't know. And it feels like DDG does not respect that. Also, DDG is exploiting Halo, or he likes to exploit Halo. I don't care what nobody says. DDG came out and literally admitted this himself. He literally said verbatim, "Yeah, I know my son makes little faces and stuff like that, and I purposely put him in front of the camera because I know we're gonna catch a moment that's gonna go viral. AKA, I like to exploit my child for kids and views. So yeah, I was right when I said that before too. Moving on. Um, yeah, it just feels like at this age, again, things could change in the future, but I feel like it's always gonna be this way. He prefers his mother's energy over his father's. Okay, he still loves his father, but he's a mama's boy. And I feel like this connection will stay throughout their lifetime. I even feel like I'm seeing a picture when Halo's older. I feel like he's a teenager. Like he's either in his mid to late teens at this point, and I feel like him and Halle will still be close. Like still be very close. Like that'll always be her firstborn. Like she fell in love with Halo. And not in the weird boy mom way. Like she genuinely fell in love with him because that's her son. Like Halle genuinely feels like Halo is a gift to her. Like he was a blessing. And she cherishes him like a blessing. And that's how you're supposed to treat your children. So I'm seeing a picture of them like on Instagram or whatever social media platform, and they're like cheesing together. I think he'll end up looking a little bit more like DDG, but he'll still mainly look like Halle, which I also feel like is another, like he looks like Halle for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, their energy is similar, and he looks like Halle maybe because of that reason, right? Because their energy is similar. So yeah, I feel like he's gonna grow into his looks and look a little bit more like DDG, but he's still going to very closely resemble Halle. And yeah, I feel like when he grows up, Halle is going to try to use her resources to get him into Hollywood. Like we may see him start acting, but I don't know why I'm just hearing spirits telling me Hollywood is not his thing. But it doesn't mean he's not gonna do anything in Hollywood. I feel like he's still gonna try to do some things. I'm just hearing that Hollywood is not the thing for him, right? It's not his path. So moving on, like I said, eventually Halle will take DDG to court, and the aftermath, I feel like she will gain majority of the custody. Okay, so she will win the court case because again, she is working with a high class legal advisor and she's moving smart. DDG will continue to crash out on social media. I also see him just going through a very dark time. I'm hearing he could be abusing drugs at this point. I don't think it's anything like coke. Like I don't think he's doing anything hardcore like heroin or coke, but I feel like he's doing things like perks. You know, abusing perks, alcohol, and weed, right? He's going to be at a very low point in his life. I also feel like he's going to continue to attract girls. Like he's going to try to move on because he's a hoe. And I feel like he's only going to attract girls that are going to want to use him for his money because that's all he can provide. He can't provide stability. He doesn't have any other good qualities besides his clout and his money. And so those are the kind of girls he's going to attract. Essentially, he's going to attract girls that are on the same vibration as him because he literally just shown spirit that he cannot handle a high value woman. Halle will continue to work um as a actress and being a mother. I also feel like she's going to release some songs. I feel like when this whole situation with DDG settles down, she's going to release an album and it'll do fairly well. I actually feel like people are going to like her music a little bit more than they like Chloe's. That was some tea, okay? But yeah, I feel like she's going to do well in her career wise because she's blessed. Okay, I'm just hearing she's highly favored by spirits and the universe, okay? So moving on. Yeah, Halle will be okay. I feel like she'll find her soulmate a little bit later on in life, like maybe when she's in her late mid 30s. I feel like she'll meet her soulmate around that time and she'll get married and have more kids, but for now this is the last of the kids she will have. And this is if she continues going on her divine path. Okay, if she meets another man and does the same mistake she did with DDG, anything could change, okay? She could repeat the cycle again, but I just feel like she won't. I feel like she's learned her lesson completely. And yeah, Halle was telling the truth. Anybody who says she wasn't, you're simply glorifying DDG's fucking pinball headed ass, or you're just an idiot, okay? Moving on. Like I said, just because she's being smart, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with her moving calculated wise because this is her child. Like, this is her child. Period. She's not after money. DDG doesn't have no fucking money. I'm also hearing that financially his pockets are going to start to empty. And I feel like it's because he's going to try to maintain this lifestyle, but because also, let me add, this situation with Halle, you know, him being blasted for being domestic violence and being a bad father, it's going to cause a lot more people to support, a lot less people to support him. Okay, he's going to start to lose supporters, and because of that, people are going to start pulling their money away from him, and because of that, he's going to lose out on a lot of money. And I feel like he will end up draining his pockets. Okay. I feel like if Holly ever puts him on child support, which I feel like she may, um, if she ever puts him on child support, I feel like he's gonna struggle paying the child support because of the lack of finances. His pockets are gonna drain. If I was DDG, I would stop with the yachts and the boats and the this and the that because he truly cannot afford to live that lifestyle. Not only do you have a kid, but you have to go to court. Court costs money. You have to get a lawyer. That costs a lot of money. And I just feel like his pockets are gonna start to drain due to poor financial decisions and addictions, okay? So he could be spending a lot of his money on drugs or substances or girls. I feel like he's going to be spending it on girls. He's just going to spiral. We're going to witness his downfall, and that will be his karma. His karma will be his downfall. That will inevitably come within the following year or years. I know they're starting to itch. Um, yeah. Anyways, I definitely think T was being shady when she made that repost about Halle and the situation. But again, T's also gonna get some karma for that. Like, I feel like her man is cheating on her. Like T's man be cheating on her. Anyways, um, yeah, she's gonna get some karma for that. She has some own generational curses that she needs to break through. But yeah, moving on. This reading was very long. Let me see if I have anything else to say. I don't have anything else to say. I'm hearing the end of Sorry by Beyonce, where she says, "Me and my baby, we gonna be all right. We gonna live a good life." And then Big Homie better grow up. Like, that's what I'm hearing. I just keep hearing, "Me and my baby, we gonna be all right. We gonna live a good life. Big Homie better grow up. Me and my, it's about to stroll up." Okay? You better call Becky with the good hair. She could be listening to that song. Anyways, I feel like he definitely cheated on her with a white girl or a Hispanic girl. But anyways, DDG as a whole, this bird is so fucking loud. Y'all, sometimes being connected being connected to nature elements, bitch, being an earth angel, like being a fairy really sucks. Like these birds, oh my gosh. I'm going to end this video because this bird is so loud. Anyways, please let me know your thoughts, comments down below on the prediction that I gave. I'm pretty sure we're going to see everything that I say for the most part comes true. So we're going to see what happens with this. Yeah, Hallie's going to be okay. She's going to have a successful career. I feel like she'll be in the spotlight, okay, but not for this, for her actual career, acting or music. And DDG will in the spotlight for crashing out, okay. Unfortunately, Halle will be connected to him. Ugh, like she's gonna hate it. Like I feel like she's gonna look back and be like, why the fuck did I ever get with him? Like she doesn't regret having a child. Let me say that Halle does not regret having Halo at all. She feels like he's the best thing that ever happened to her. But I feel like she's gonna regret being with DDG because I feel like whenever he goes on social media and crashes out, unfortunately, people are always gonna bring up her in not in retaliation, but in comparison. So anyway, she doesn't really like being associated with him on social media. And yes, she did effectively pacify him. She put a restraining order on him, and she also said, "Stop talking about me." Period. In the eyes of the law, of course. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below, like, subscribe. Yeah, comment down below what you thought about this. Okay, your girl was right yet again. And like I said, subscribe so you can be ahead of time, so you can know things ahead of time, bitch. Because if you, no shade, but if you was here from the jump, this shouldn't really surprise you like that. Okay. Subscribe, like, comment down below, and don't skip those ads. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Mwah.